Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Everybody's favorite segment here on the channel, the Power Rankings. We are starting to come close to an end of the season. This might be the third last time we'll be doing this. We'll start probably switching to more playoff predictions, etc. after another week or two. Power Rankings because pretty much some of these are set for the rest of the year. A lot of teams not really playing for much anymore, other maybe move up or down a couple spots. We pretty much know what teams are fighting for playoffs, top 15. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, not too much to go in there. Before we do, go down there and like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're kicking off football season soon. Starts in, 5 days on Thursday. And we're going to keep these videos going. Hockey, podcast every week, football, lots of fun stuff coming on this channel. So make sure you subscribe for lots of that. But let's jump into it. Number 30, sticking it the same spot as last week. Baltimore Orioles. They did come off the win of the series with the Yankees, but one series isn't going to undo the hardships we saw them go through the past 2 weeks. This one's going to be a little different. I'm not going to rhyme off how everyone did. This is more of a gut feel at this point with these. 29, we got Texas Rangers. Pretty much these two teams are pretty much cemented in the bottom. Maybe the bottom row is pretty much all set up for me. Number 28, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates coming off a rough series against the Cubs, getting swept. Realistically, you could interchange any of these bottom three teams. It's not going to make too much of a deal. We all know they're missing the playoffs. Not a whole lot going forward. They're looking ahead till next year. Number 27, I'm going to give them a little bit of an edge. Got the Diamondbacks. I just like their rotation a little bit better than the rest of the three. Other than that, again, all these teams have had long losing streaks throughout the season. Number 26, believe it or not, on a 6-game winning streak. Still going to put them in the bottom row. I don't care if they've won 6 in a row. 3 of them are against the Pirates. They pretty much sold everything off. We'll have to see what their team's going to shape up to look like next year. Otherwise, they're a bottom team, definitely. Number 25. If it wasn't for Shohei Ohtani, this team could probably be in dead last this season in the American League. Not a lot going for them. Of course, all eyes on this team now with Shohei Ohtani, seeing if he can get to 50 home runs. I believe he's about 6 away off the top of my head. Can't remember if he is 44th or not. Next up, Washington Nationals. They've been pretty good the last little bit, but they're out of it. They're probably the weakest team right now in their division. If they went head-to-head against anyone, they do got Juan Soto, of course, but we'll see how they adjust. Will some of their rotation come back next year? They sold at the deadline, pretty much set themselves up for a long trek back in this tough division. They're right up there against Miami Marlins, and I do give the Marlins a little bit of an edge. I feel like they're more up and coming. They have more depth of the prospect pool than the Nationals. And I like their rotation a little bit more. So they're both poor teams this year, but 23-24 I think is right. Number 22, the Colorado Rockies. A lot of these guys staying in the same spot as last week because a lot of teams basically went 500 this week too. But Colorado had a good series at home playing against a tough opponent in Atlanta. Gotta give them some credit there. Number 21, we got the Twins. The Twins have been pretty good over the past 2 months. They've been one of the stronger teams, definitely in the bottom side of the league. They're giving teams the most trouble on any given night. They took a nice win today against Tampa, but Twins, of course, out of it. But I do think they have a little bit to work with going for next season. Number 20, Kansas City Royals, same kind of story. If it wasn't for the rotation, I think they would have had a much better season. They might have been potentially in the wild card race, but their rotation really set them back this year. Salvador Perez having an amazing year, career year. Could take the home run crown, really. If he was on a different team, different market, he'd be in the MVP conversations as well. So a lot of credit for him. Number 19, a little bit down to earth. We got 3 American League Central teams in a row. Really, any one of those 3 can win on any given day. It's going to be fun to see where these guys go next season. Their seasons are over. All these teams, their seasons are over. They're not going to make the playoffs. But kind of jockeying where they're going to be going into next year. Are they happy with where they are? And out of these, I think Detroit has the best future so far. Next up, number 18, the New York Mets. They had fallen a lot over the past couple weeks, but this past week they had a pretty good week, picking up a bunch of wins. And believe it or not, they are still in the running. While they need a heater, their division is still wide open. Atlanta had a chance to walk away with it, and they just didn't. Number 17, the Cleveland Indians. They're above 500. They're out of the Central, but give them a little bit ahead of these teams in the Central. Overall, they missing Bieber a lot this year. They traded some of their guys. They're kind of going through a transition period, but at the same time, they are remaining competitive, above 500. So I think they're on the bottom side of the good teams and the top side of the bad teams. It's pretty much how you could look at it. Number 16, smack dab in the same spot. Really blew a chance to make a jump up tonight when they were playing Milwaukee. Losing that rubber match really put a damper to me, and then making the playoffs. They brought it close though. The Cardinals are definitely not out of it, and this is kind of where the playoff race starts. Looking at the Cardinals, they're a couple games back from a wild card spot, lots of games at hand, so not even close to counting them out. But I think head to head against all the teams ahead of them, they're losing in my books. Not by much. Number 15, we have the Oakland A's, who have just been free falling out of the wild card. They had that first wild card spot pretty secure for a while, and then things just started coming apart. This past weekend, they got swept by the Blue Jays. Again, another team they were ahead of in the race, but now they're tied. So a lot of concern. The A's have a lot of ground to make up, probably falling too far out of it. Next up, 14, we've got Toronto Blue Jays. I said it in our daily show that they were out of it when they really had that rough series with Detroit. Of course, they're not out of it. They're 4 games out, but this next series against the Yankees starting on Monday is a big deal. They're going to have to win pretty much 700 here on out, in my opinion, to make the wild card. But they're in it, and they're better than the teams behind them in my books. Number 13, we've got the Phillies making a little bit of ground up after taking over the division, then completely crapping the bed. They've turned it on a little bit this past week. I think in their last 10, they're something like 7-3, at least winning. And they're 2 games out of their division and a couple games out of the wild card. So either spot's kind of up for grabs. They're in there, and they got a team that is capable of doing it, definitely. Number 12, holding on to that wild card spot by the skin of their teeth, we have the Cincinnati Reds. I don't believe that they can do it, to be honest. They got a lot of teams chasing them, and out of the teams chasing them, I think they're the weaker ones. Cardinals, I think, are a little bit stronger, but the Reds have proven themselves up till now. So 12 is for them. Number 11, I do have the San Diego Padres. Even though they've lost the spot to the Reds, I do consider them the stronger team. I think they have a better chance of passing the Reds than vice versa, and the Reds holding, so I'm ranking them number 11. Number 10, I think this is the first time all season, the Mariners. Analytically, they are not number 10, but when it comes to where they are in the standings, where they are competing on a given day and beating these teams below them, the Mariners are a top 10 team in the MLB. Again, run differential-wise, they're negative, but they find themselves in a wild card hunt, in a possible division hunt. They're only 4 games behind Houston. So, again, it's possible. They have the rotation. They have the bats, apparently, to get it done. So don't be surprised if they can hold on to that spot. Number 9, we've got Atlanta Braves. It's kind of sticking in that same spot as last week. This is where it really starts to be a big difference between the top 8 and the teams that are fighting for these last spots. Braves are top of their division, gives them a little bit of a boost. But they got the Phillies right on their tail, and realistically, the Mets aren't too far behind. So the way this could shape out by the last 3 weeks could see a very different picture between 9 and 16 when it's all said and done. Number 8, coming off a rough loss today against the Indians. They didn't lose up any ground, at least on the Yankees. But I think number 8 is pretty consistent. They're in that second wild card spot. They're holding on by the skin of their teeth, but right now they are a top 8 team in the MLB. Number 7, right ahead of them, their heater has come to an end. They actually lost a series to the Baltimore Orioles over the weekend, so The streak they're on is definitely over. They're going to be coming into a real test with the Blue Jays. It's going to really decide if they're going to walk away with that first wild card spot, or if it's going to become even more interesting down the stretch. Brings us to number 6. I do have the Houston Astros. They got quite a couple games lead on their division. They should be able to secure that up with 3 weeks left in the season. Of course, they're going to play those teams down the stretch, but I think they are the best team so far that I've thrown up here. Number 5, the Chicago White Sox. Same kind of story. They pretty much got their division on lock. We all can agree with that. They got the rotation that's been good. The bats have been good. But they just can't seem to break that 600 barrier in win percentage. So, of course, there's some concern there. Their wins might be inflated because we're playing against teams in the bottom here, like 17 and below. They're sharing their division with. And then on the central side of it, on the National League, we've got the Cubs and the Pirates. So when it comes to playing better teams, they haven't gone over that hump yet. But 5, I think, is pretty secure spot for them. That brings us to number 4. I think for like the 3rd week in a row, we have the Milwaukee Brewers. They've got their division on lock. They have a rotation, and in a 7-game series, they're going to be competitive against anyone. I just think they're slightly behind these top 3. Otherwise, they're right there in the hunt, and we are not to count them out when it comes to playoff time. Top 4 is definitely a feat. That brings us number 3. Dropping 1 spot, we got the Dodgers. Of course, the Sunday night game just ended, and the Dodgers lost, so they did fall to the Giants. Some concern, of course, that they're not going to win the division, have to play that 1-game wild card. I'm going to start to punish them because I'm going to put the Giants at number 2. There's got to be some punishment now. With 3 weeks left, these guys are still fighting for that last spot. Of course, they're both very good teams, but the team that doesn't win the division is going to be in a lot of trouble. 1-game wild card, anything can go. So we could see a top 3 team go home in that wild card, which could be pretty heartbreaking for baseball fans, but it's the way we signed it up for. Brings us to a new number 1, first time this season. Got Tampa Bay Rays. They pretty much walked away with the American League East slowly but surely. They've had a couple times this season where they've had very long win streaks, and they tend to win every series that they're in. Come from behind late in ball games. Pitching just seems to get it done on any given night. Wander Franco setting crazy records for on-base percentage streaks. But yeah, there you have it, Tampa Bay Rays number 1. And there you have where we are at heading into the final 3 weeks of the season. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with the top 5, top 10, whatever? What teams do you think are going to take up those final wildcard spots and all that fun stuff? Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure, like, subscribe, join that community. We will see you guys for that next video. Peace out.